You've got to know. What is this thing that I have found? What is this? What is this? Yeah. Well, Greg, what is it?
We're going to talk about a game today.
Oh, okay.
A board, tabletop game, what have you, not a video game.
Okay. That was weird.
Well, there's no board involved in the game we're going to talk about.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. Okay. But okay.
Yeah, we've done some games before, and I'm a big proponent, so I like to...
yeah, no, I'm excited.
Spread the word.
Have I heard of this one before?
Yeah, probably. It's called Dominion, and it's been out for since about 2008.
I don't think I've ever played it, though.
Played it. But before I get to that, okay, some people who listen to this know that I get Entertainment Weekly. They like to do lists.
Oh, my.
And so do a lot of... I mean, even all the stupid girly magazines, like Top 10 Ways to Please Your Man.
Yeah.
Or like in this case, this was like a double issue that was the 100 greatest of all time for movies. They did a list for movies. They did a list for TV shows. They did a list for music. They did a list for books.
Who did a list?
Entertainment Weekly.
No, but I know, but who?
That's the problem. I feel like all these lists are meant to do is to piss people off.
Well, I don't know. It's one person's opinion, first of all.
And they're
even
wrong.
A small group of people's opinion. And yes, they're generally wrong.
That's the problem. They're wrong. Like, because here's the thing.
Well, and what purpose do they serve? Why do we need a list?
Well, that's why I think especially with like magazines, they're to sell copies and to get people to talk about them. Because I have to say, like specifically on movies, when you see AFI's like top 100, I don't think anybody really gets mad and goes, "I can't believe that you put this." Like maybe there's some discussion about how the top 5 were ranked, but there's rarely a discussion about where the heck was this movie? Why wasn't it in there?
No, right.
They do it right.
They also, and I don't know that I give AFI that much more credit, but at least it's the American Film Institute. I feel like they're doing it for an artistic purpose versus, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of lists. I don't know why we need a list.
Right. Here's an example of how horrible this list that they did for movies in Entertainment Weekly.
It's like competition.
Okay, yeah, their top 3, The Godfather, Casablanca, and Citizen Kane. I think that everyone could be like, yeah, those are valid top 3.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3 of the greatest movies.
Right. Then it's not so much the top part of the list that's offensive. It's just the middle of it where you're like, not even the numbers, where it's just you're like, how does Pulp Fiction get rated a full 20 higher than something like Vertigo or The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Or
See,
then you're like...
See, and this is why I don't feel like we need lists.
Yeah.
Or at least not numbered lists. Like, if you want to just write down 100 movie titles that you think are the best movies ever made, that I would be for.
Yeah.
But don't put numbers by them, because then you're implying a better and worse than.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which does not apply. Or should not apply.
Yeah. I just don't get how they do some of these. And some of them were even more offensive in the other categories of this thing.
Really?
Well, number 2, to say the number 2 TV show of all time is The Simpsons, that's personally offensive to me, but maybe it is not.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a number 2 show of all time. I love The Simpsons.
I would put it in the top 100, just like them. See, here's okay. Now here's obviously, how do you put it Lost, even if you're not a huge fan of Lost, or The X-Files, or The Carol Burnett Show, or The Fugitive, or The Rockford Files, or Frasier, or The West Wing? How are those farther back on the list than a show like Roseanne? How are those somehow worse than the Roseanne Barr show? Anyone?
No, I understand that, and okay, but
some people would disagree with me. That's the problem with this.
Yes, and therein is the controversy that you're talking about.
Yeah,
because there are going to be some people out there right now who are thinking, yeah, but the Roseanne show broke all sorts of barriers. They showed a family like you'd never seen before, and it's like I hear you, and you're not wrong.
Yeah,
but if they just took away the numbers on that list, then we could all talk about the shows.
How is the number 8 album of all time by Kanye West?
That's not happening.
How is that possible?
It's not possible.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not possible.
All the Beatles albums are better than one Kanye West album.
Well, yeah.
But they're not.
And I don't even like all the Beatles albums.
Yeah. I'm not saying that maybe his album isn't good enough to be in the top 100.
I'm not saying that at all.
There's no way it's number 8.
There's no way it's number 8 with all the music in the history.
In all the music in the history of like recording, like,
right?
Since the 1918 or something,
right?
Like, really, Kanye West guys, really?
Well, right. If we're just talking, I guess, modern music. Because I mean, if Mozart's part of the mix, then I don't even know how Kanye West makes the list.
No, they're talking about albums.
Okay.
So it's modern music.
Okay.
But I don't see how he's top 8. I don't get that.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense to me.
So it's
and that's really no slight on Kanye West. It's not has nothing to do with how good or bad he is.
No,
I'm just saying, given the amount of music I know that has been made in the past 100 years, there's no way you're number 8, Kanye.
There's no way. And I don't know what because it's just a horrible vicious cycle where I'm like, I want to see what they rated.
Yeah, but and that's the thing that gets you.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be the person who's like, I got to see this, and then I read it and I get pissed.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw it in the floor of your apartment.
Yeah.
And I just kept eyeing it like, I'm gonna have to pick that up and see what they put. And I really think
you're gonna be mad.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think you're right. I think that is why they do
some sort
that.
of self.
I'm telling you, we could solve the whole problem if they just took away the numbering of the things, because that's what implies a better or worse.
Yeah, if they just had a top 100 in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Yep.
Because then you just be like, well, I agree. These are 100 really good ones.
Yeah.
Dumb. Anyways, okay, so Dominion. It's
the game.
The game, yes, what we came here for.
Uh-huh.
What it is it came out in 2008, and there's been, I think, 7 or so expansions all the way up until last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's more of those on the way. It's a deck building game.
Okay.
But not in the
sense... Now, when you say a
deck
deck building game, what do you mean?
What I don't mean is like a Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
Which is like I have to go... This is all self-contained in the box. The expansions are whole boxes with hundreds of cards that you can choose to play with or mix and match. What I mean by deck building is that you start with 7 cards in your hand.
Okay.
And there's stacks of cards available on the table, and you integrate those into your deck every turn by purchasing them with the gold cards that you have or things like that, or other card functions that allow you to get more cards.
I see. So you're literally building the deck within the...
Your deck starts with 7 cards, and by the end of the game, maybe 50 cards, maybe 35 cards, and you're using it to win the game.
I see. So you're not talking about something where you're buying cards to, like in the world.
No, you're organically choosing which cards you want to add to your deck because
you're literally building a deck within one
within one sitting, and then you take all the cards and put them back in their stacks of all the different kinds and go away. So it's not like...
Okay, now how does the game work?
So what you're trying to do is, to win, you need to get victory points because it's a European game and they always center around victory points.
Sure.
And the victory points are because this is a medieval themed game.
Okay.
Is
there like a story?
No, there's no story. It's just a kind of an era.
Okay.
And so you're trying to... Well, I guess the story would be that you're like a lord. So you're trying to amass the most...
Right. But there's no through story.
No. There's no plot or anything. It's purely a game function game, like a mechanic game.
Understood.
You have estates, provinces, and duchies.
Okay.
And so you're trying, and they're worth 1, 3, and 6 victory points each.
Right.
And they cost gold. So by the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points via owning land in estates, duchies, and provinces is the winner. You have the largest dominion.
Right. Hence the name of the game.
Yeah. And so you have those land type cards. You have gold in the form of copper, silver, and gold, which are worth 1, 2, and 3 each.
Okay.
And then you have the function cards. And these are cards that do stuff. So they'll be like a wishing well or a coppersmith or a blacksmith.
Different features of your dominion.
Moat or a battalion. There's different things.
And do you attack other people?
The way you attack, there's certain cards that have an attack, and there's certain cards that have a defense. And you may play a game, because you mix and match, you only play with 10 of these dominion cards.
Okay.
And you mix and match it, so it makes every game different.
Oh, okay.
And so certain ones attack, certain ones defend. But when I say attack, all it usually means is other player flips over the top 2 cards of their deck and discards 1.
Oh, okay. So they lose an opportunity.
They lose a card, or they lose something, or they have to discard half their hand, or...
Sure. But you're taking away their opportunities to grow.
Right. You're not actually making them lose the game. It's just stifling them a little bit.
Right. I get you.
So it's not like
adding some difficult roadblocks into them.
But it's really fun, and it's one of those where the first time you play it, you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just... Because you start off with I think you start off with 7 gold and 3 provinces.
Okay.
Now the provinces, duchies, and estates, those are basically dead cards, because you get to draw 5 cards every turn.
Mm-hmm.
And the green ones that are those, they're dead. They don't serve a purpose. They're for the end game.
Right.
You need them in your deck to win the game, but they don't help you.
Well, right.
So there's cards that allow you to, like, if you have any land, discard it and draw the difference. It's like, oh, cool.
Oh, so now you can hold.
Right, and you get you get one action, one turn, you get one buy, meaning you can buy a card or a gold or a copper, and then there's cards that give you extra actions or give you more gold. Sure. So you're paying for those Dominion cards that give you these bonus actions and bonus things. They go in your discard pile, and then once you've gone through your deck, you shuffle it all and draw 5 more. And now they're mixed in, and you're going to get them.
All right.
So you're kind of strategizing on, what do I want to have more of in my deck because it'll allow me to do this.
Sure.
It's very interesting, and it's one where you start playing it and you're just buying. You're just like, I guess I'll buy this because I have 4 coins. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
It sounds a little complicated.
It's not. It's much simpler
what's
than it seems.
What's the learning curve?
The learning curve is half a game.
Okay.
You'll sit down with someone. They'll explain to you how to play. It's very basic concepts. You have to buy things with gold. You have to have gold to buy it. That's the concept.
Got it.
You'll start playing, and you will just be buying random Dominion cards and be like, I don't know, but I'm going to buy this. Or, oh, I finally got 6 gold, so I can actually buy a gold that's worth 3. Or, oh, I got 8, I'm going to buy a province. Like, you're just going to buy what you can buy. And as you start to use the cards as they come into your hand, you'll be like, oh, that's okay. I need more of this. Or now once I have this, if I had that card too, I could do this combo.
I see. So like, give it a little bit of time.
You need half a game to figure out, oh my God, there's infinite possibilities with this, and I can actually develop a strategy. But even someone who's now played the game a number of times, when I start the game, you don't start with anything but money and land.
Right.
So you're just kind of like, I think that might be useful. Let me get that. Like the first couple card buys are a little willy-nilly, and then it starts to develop. You'll see, hey, that person keeps attacking me and giving me curses. There's curses that are negative victory points. Well, I need to get something to get rid of that or counteract that.
Sure. The game develops as you go.
Yeah.
How long does the game take to play?
20 minutes.
Oh, really?
20 minutes to 30 minutes, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be picking it up.
Yeah, when my girlfriend and I play, we usually play 2 or 3 games in a sitting.
Oh, okay.
And you just change up the Dominion cards next time. And so the expansions give you new and different Dominion cards that have more functions. Right. It's really fun.
What to you is the fun of this game?
It's just I mean, it's fun to just because it's real kind of light. You're not really having to sit there because you're given 5 cards. They have functions. You either use them or you don't.
Right.
And so it's not like heavy strategy. The strategy is in what you buy, but I wouldn't call it heavy strategy.
But your strategy develops as you go.
You can still have a conversation at the table and be talking about whatever while you're playing this.
Right.
And so it's just fun when you like the fun for me when it gets really fun is when you're like, okay, I think that if I got these 2 cards and I was able to draw them all 3 at once, then this would be ridiculous and I'd end up with like 15 gold at the end of the turn. And then you actually, because number one, you got to get enough of those cards so that the chances of you drawing 3 in a row are good. And then you can draw them, or like you maybe got 2 of them and then you had a card that allowed you to draw another card. It's the one and you're like, oh my God. And then when you get the combo to go off that you've figured out, it's really cool, but they're not like real specific, like there's infinite ones and they can be simple.
No, that makes sense. It makes sense.
So it's really fun. It's easy to learn, like I said.
But it doesn't sound like you get a lot of enjoyment out of like really screwing the other person.
No,
it's more about
I don't even really like the attack cards.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, no, I want to work on my own deck. I want to just get the victory points for me. And each little expansion introduces maybe like some new concepts or a theme. Like there's a seaside one and there's a nights one, and so like the seaside one, there's islands and trading ports.
And if you wanted to be fun, you could make up your own stories about what's going on here.
You could probably.
Okay.
You could probably do that. Talk through like how you're getting this card out, why the Duke needs to show up after the beggar or something like.
Right.
So it's really fun if you haven't tried it. It looks like a boring European game. The box is not that interesting looking. It doesn't look like a Milton Bradley or a Hasbro game.
Okay.
So the box is really ugly, so I could see why people wouldn't get into it, but it's a huge game. Like, obviously, there's been 7 expansions.
Well, I've heard of it. I've never played it, but I've heard of it.
I would recommend, though, everybody go out and try it or find someone who has it or go to a game store that allows you to kind of play games in there. It's simple. It seems hard, but the rule book's literally 2 pages long.
Okay, so it's not that hard.
And one of those pages is just describing the function of every card.
Okay, right.
So it's really not hard. It's really simple, but it has that's why I think it's a wide...
How many people can play it?
I think up to 4. I've only ever played with 2, though.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to try it with 3 or 4, but I think, I know you can do 4, and I think they have an expansion that makes it 6.
Oh, okay.
But it's just one of those ones where it's very simple, but I think it appeals to a wide audience because someone can learn it 5 minutes into the game and they're going and self-sufficient and they're not going to be blown away by the other players.
Right.
They might not win, but then it's not going to be a blowout. And
That's
then,
interesting, yeah.
But there's a lot of depth to be had once you played it a little bit. There's a lot of different combos that you want to try and stuff like that. So,
well, fantastic.
Anyways, no board, but it is, I guess, be considered a board game.
Right.
So,
Well, check it out. This is our non-competition episode of What's This?
Yes.
We promoted non-competition.
Yeah. What was the other thing that we promoted non-competition on?
The lists.
Oh, yeah. No, lists should not compete. That's right. All right. So, once again, facebook.com/FITV podcast to find out what's going on. Like us. Tell your friends.
Check us out on youtube.com/FITV films.
Fillintheblankfilms.com.
You can find everything.
And the Twitters, GPL Films for me.
AustinJD14 for me, but don't do it.
And we'll see you soon for another episode.
Yep. Thank you, guys.